Horsford. Tamla was born in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 1978, and she lived there with her family until they moved to the Bronx in 1989. She met her husband in Florida, and he had a daughter from a previous relationship. They got married and went on to have 5 sons together. When Tamla died, her youngest son was only 4 years old. By all accounts, Tam was the life of the party. She liked to laugh. She loved to dance. She loved to have fun. When the Horsfords moved to Georgia 5.5 years earlier for her husband Leander's work, it was this warmth that attracted the Myers and other people to the charismatic mother of 6. I went on the website that the family has going for a petition for investigators to reopen this case, and I will include that in the description box down below. But they had the most beautiful kind of tribute for Tamla, and I'd like to read it to you now. Tamla Horsford was a beautiful and kind soul, inside and out. Tam had a joyful and loving spirit. She loved spending time with her family and her friends. Her soul was kind, her smile inviting, and her personality filled with life. Tam enjoyed dancing and hosting family and friends at home. She made sure that everyone felt welcome, and Tam was sure to make an impression if you met her 1 hour ago or 20 years before. Tam and her husband had 5 boys and a bonus stepdaughter she raised as her own. An active boy mom, shuffling between sports and various activities, doting over them at every chance that she got, enjoying all stages of their lives to include becoming a grandmother. Tamla, Tam, or Tammy, was nothing short of amazing. She was a light in the lives of all that she loved. Her bigger-than-life personality was only matched by the pure kindness in her heart. Selfless, inclusive, loving, and strong, Tam believed in love and compassion. She helped those who were in need, and she was loyal to those who called a friend. That was like one of the kindest things I've ever read about a case that we've covered here on my channel, and it really made me so sad. So, with her beaming smile and a sparkle in her eye, Tamla was a ray of light according to her family. She just put everyone else first. Her sister called her super mom. She made sure she could provide for them, and she was always the type of person who would stand up for the little guy. So that brings us to November 4th, 2018. Tam attended a football mom adult sleepover, and the following morning, she was dead. Tamla arrived at the party at around 8:30 p.m. She was 40 years old at this point, and she had made dinner for her 5 sons and her husband before heading out to celebrate the birthday of her friend, Jeannie Myers. Jeannie had invited a group of moms, most who'd met through the local youth football league, to spend the night, not wanting anyone to drink and drive. Tam arrived with a bottle of tequila and a small overnight bag, and she changed into the cutest white onesie pajamas covered in paw prints shortly after she got there. The party was originally meant to be all ladies, but Jeannie's boyfriend, Jose Pereira, and Tom Smith, the husband of another attendee of this party, ended up sticking around. In the end, there were 12 socialized, and they watched the LSU-Alabama game upstairs. Pereira and Smith, the two guys, watched football in Jeannie's unfinished basement. Now, during this time, Tamla was the only habitual smoker in the house. She regularly stepped out on the balcony for cigarettes, and according to some of the others, she did smoke a little pot that night too. But Jeannie asked her to not do that. According to Jeannie's statement, she kind of joked with Tamla and said that she was the female Bob Marley, and she reminded Tamla that Jose Pereira worked as a cop, and he did not approve. Eventually, the men joined the ladies, and the group played Cards Against Humanity. There are a ton of photos and pictures from this night where you can see Tamla smiling, laughing, happy. There's selfies. She had been drinking the tequila, and she would later be found to have a pretty significant blood alcohol level, but she wasn't intending on driving home, and according to these photos and videos and the accounts of people there, she didn't appear to be particularly drunk. She was kind of described by her family as someone who could really hold her liquor. So, guests who were not spending the night began to leave around 11:30 p.m., while those who were staying trickled off to go to bed over the next couple of hours. Tamla remained awake after Jeannie and Jose headed to bed at around 1:30. The last person to see Tamla was a woman named Bridget Fuller, who was picked up by her husband at 1:47 a.m. In the statement that she gave, Bridget says Tamla was eating a bowl of gumbo, and that she told her she planned to smoke a cigarette and then go to bed. Now, here's where things get a little tricky. Over the next 10 minutes, the home security system registers the back door opening, closing, and then opening again for the last time at 10:57 a.m. Around 8:45 the next morning, Madeline Lombardi, Jeannie's aunt who lived at the house, headed down to the kitchen to make herself some coffee for the morning. She describes seeing something chilling through the window in the backyard. The white paw print onesie. It was Tamla, lying face down in the grass and not moving. After saying a prayer, Madeline headed upstairs to find Jeannie, telling her that something appeared to be wrong with her friend from the islands. Remember, she was born in the Caribbean, but moved to the U.S. Forsyth County 911 got the call just before 9 a.m. On the line, both Jeannie and Jose speak. She's not moving. She's not breathing. She's completely face down in the yard. She is stiff, was an unlit cigarette and a lighter that Jose said he found on the upper deck. Together, the investigators found that this evidence suggested Tamla went out for a cigarette sometime around 1:57 and accidentally fell to her death. Tamla's sister said, "Never, ever, ever have I seen my sister sloppy drunk and incoherent, so I doubt that she would pick a sleepover with people she was just getting to know to start behaving that way." When they closed the case, the department released the incident report and death investigation to the public. But these documents didn't provide the answers that Tamla's family and friends were looking for. In fact, they only caused more confusion. How did a woman with that high of a BAC appear to be completely in control of her facilities? According to interviews as well as videos taken that night, yet she managed to fall over a nearly 4-foot high railing and into the backyard. How did a house full of people, some of them just having gone to bed less than a half an hour before, not hear her fall to her death right outside their windows? Could a 15 to 20-foot fall cause not only death, but the other injuries that were provided on this report? She had a dislocated wrist, a broken neck, and a laceration to her heart muscle. Her family and friends wondered, why wasn't the scene preserved, evidence tested, or potential witnesses interviewed immediately? What really happened when that back door opened just before 2 a.m.? And why was it left open until the next morning? And would the investigation have gone differently if Tamla wasn't the only African-American person at this party? According to the autopsy from the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, Tamla showed blunt force trauma to her head, neck, torso, and extremities, to include abrasions of her face, 4 types of hemorrhages in her skull and brain, dislocation of her right wrist, and cuts on her arms and legs. Additionally, as I mentioned, she suffered a broken neck and a laceration of the right ventricle of her heart. According to the incident report written by lead investigator Mike Christian, Tamla's body position was also examined at the scene. I found this so weird. Most notable, when she was turned over, was the fact that she had come to rest face down in the grass. Her head had not been turned to one side or the other. Her legs were found extended behind her, with both feet pointing to the right, and her right arm close to her body. Her left arm was found extended and bent at the elbow. Friends and family and advocates for Tamla have doubted whether her injuries and resting position could be a result of a fall from a balcony. I have to wonder that myself. Some of them have questioned whether the injuries to her hands and arms could be defensive wounds, which would suggest perhaps an altercation before either going over the balcony or being positioned in the backyard. In fact, the incident report shows that Christian's initial theory was that she had experienced a fall, not from the deck, but from the ground, due to the landscaping edging that matched scrapes on her shins. In the same report, Christian only brought the balcony fall theory to Dr. Andrew Koopmeiner's associate medical examiner with the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, after the medical examiner said that these injuries could not have been caused by a ground-level fall. In his final report, Koopmeiners concluded it appeared as though she may have fallen from the deck. May have fallen from the deck. I can't even. Ultimately ruling that her injuries were consistent in those received from a roughly second-story fall. Now, as I said, the scene was not secured in any way, so potential evidence may have been compromised or missed. steps are not routine, and they weren't taken in this case because there was no indication of foul play. The GBI's Division of Forensic Science also declined to test the contents of the bottle of tequila that Tamla had been drinking that evening. Miles explained its standard policy not to test for illicit substances when the possible suspect is deceased, because there would be no one to be held accountable if they were to find drugs present. What? Police in this case also contributed to feeling of a distrust from the family from early on. According to the incident report, Deputy Christian brought his theory that Tamla experienced a ground fall, not only to the medical examiner, but also to Tamla's father, Kurt. The family struggled to understand how Tamla could have died from a ground-level fall, and when Tamla's husband later asked investigators about this theory and the confusion that it caused, investigators agreed it had been a mistake to hypothesize with the family so early on. "We probably have created part of a mess here," Christian told Leander. "We had an idea of what happened, which was absolutely wrong, and what I should have done probably was keep my mouth shut and not spun theories." But the shift to the balcony theory really didn't answer all of the outstanding questions in this case. While speaking with the police roughly 2 weeks after Tamla's death, fellow party attendee Stacy Smith expressed doubt that Tamla could have fallen. "I don't get it at all," Stacy told the police. "I mean, I've been on that deck like a million times. I've looked and I've tried. In fact, testing a theory that drunk Tamla had leaned over to throw up, but had accidentally leaned too far over. And I still don't understand it," Stacy said. Officer Sexton sympathized with her confusion, but continued to explore the fall theory. "I mean, like you said, she leaned over. I was trying to throw up, or maybe thought she was going to throw up, or maybe even climbed up on the rail and sat to smoke. Just who knows," he says. But Stacy notes that Tamla wasn't acting sick, despite her high BAC. And this is supported, as I said, by the videos and photos and the other people that were there that night. In Fuller's interview with the police, she explains that this may be due to Tamla being a seasoned drinker and says that it would take an enormous amount of alcohol to knock her down, basically. Diane Coulavarius, a friend of Tamla, also had lingering questions. "I just got several inconsistent stories," she said, of her interactions with the group of 12. "The accident theory just doesn't make sense, not when everyone there said she was fine." The attorney for Tamla's family, a man named Ralph Fernandez, said that despite repeated requests, police never provided any autopsy or crime scene photos. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation said they didn't because he didn't follow procedure. Fernandez says that's not true. He says, when asked how unusual it is to request autopsy photos and not be given them, "This has never happened to me. It defies logic." Suspicions in Tamla's case were further raised in February of 2019, when Jose Pereira, the parole officer and boyfriend of the homeowner Jeannie Myers, was fired after he used his position to illegally access the Pamela Horsford incident report, say that 5 times fast, and the name record for Myers via the record management system database. This came to light as part of an ongoing investigation between the so-called Forsyth 12 and Tamla's close friend, Michelle Wynn Graves. Later that month, 7 of the individuals present the night of the incident, including Jeannie and Jose, sued this Michelle for defamation, pointing to Facebook posts accusing them of being responsible for Tamla's death. This case has since been dismissed, but they have appealed. But none of this, not the questions surrounding County Sheriff's Office said it spent 300 hours investigating the situation, including conducting more than 30 interviews with the guests at the party and other people connected to this event. During the summer of 2020, her tragic death saw renewed cries for justice in midst of a nationwide movement. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. Across the U.S., the case sparked a huge petition, with celebrities like Kim Kardashian and 50 Cent also calling attention to the cause. After the public outcry, the state of Georgia authorities reopened the investigation at the request of the sheriff's office, but the family was just not satisfied with this. Tamla's mother, Elizabeth, said, "We want justice. The boys and I, we want justice. We need answers that make sense. None of this makes sense. None of it." As I said before, I will include the link down below for the website where the petition is for you to talk, for you to help. Oh gosh, I just bumped you. For you to help, maybe the authorities attract some more attention to this case. I don't know why I am so red. I'm not really sure what that's about. My camera likes to do that occasionally, so sorry. Oh, there I go, apologizing again. Okay, so I don't have any theories in this case. Well, not like any pinpoint theories, okay? I always have something, because I don't know, this one is just so strange. I don't think that this was an accidental fall from a balcony. I don't think that she leaned over to throw up and fell from the balcony. First of all, where's the throw up? Like, that should have been, I don't know. I feel like if you're leaning that far, it's already happening. Sorry if you don't like to discuss that kind of stuff, but do I think, yes, she could have been sitting on the railing smoking a cigarette? Yes, I do. But the way her body was found, I find extremely disturbing, and I find it extremely unlikely that that would be the case if she fell over the balcony. First of all, so her right arm is tucked in, but that's the wrist that was dislocated, so I could see she was like holding it close to herself because it hurt. Left arm's crooked at the elbow and extended out, but her legs were together with her feet pointing to the right, but her face was in the grass. You cannot mean to tell me that she fell over that balcony and her face landed in the grass. To me, there's just no way that was possible. If she died from this laceration to the heart, which I would think would be the quickest thing that would injure her, maybe not. The blunt force trauma was kind of how did she get 4 different blunt force traumas to herself and falling over a balcony? It's not like she hit 3 other balconies on the way down. She went over the balcony and hit the grass. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why that made sense in someone's mind. I could see maybe she tripped over something or fell or something, but I couldn't see that causing blunt force trauma unless she landed on like the concrete patio on her nugget, like completely on her head. I mean, if we're talking about it, Bob Saget had blunt force trauma to his head, but it wasn't like the rest of him do. Like, so I don't know. There's just something about this case that doesn't so red. I hate this camera. I need to get a new one. Ugh, it's so frustrating. It's always something. It doesn't work, or I'm red, or it doesn't film all the way, or something. I don't know. Just dropping like $800 for a camera makes me want to throw up a little. So, you know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I know that my content hasn't been extremely long, but I really am trying to keep it regular for you guys because it's quite important to me to keep up the continuity of my channel, to get a video, at least one video, out to you every single week, because you guys may not realize it, but you're just as important to me as I am to you. I rely on you guys just as much. Maybe not your voices, but your comments, and you're all my internet besties. So I'm going to stop rambling now. Please let me know what you think down below. How should I categorize this case? Is it solved? Is it a mystery? Do the police need to do more investigation? And if you think so, please go sign the petition that I will leave linked in the description box down below. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you soon.